welcome to Banger Broadcast, episode 7, I believe. This is another series of the Banger Bracket. This session, we're doing the year of 2013 music, and 2013 was actually definitely understated. I mean, most people kind of forget when different releases came out over these early 2010s, but 2013 was jam-packed. So we'll get right into it. For those who don't remember or haven't heard the first couple, we pick our top 10 albums, kind of like backyard football. Eric will get his first pick, then my first pick, then Eric's second pick, then my second pick. But yeah, do you want to just run down this list real quick, Eric?
Yeah, my number one pick was Yeezus from Kanye. Michael's was Nothing Was the Same from Drake. My number 2 was Because the Internet by Childish Gambino. Michael's number 2 was Magna Carta Holy Grail from Jay-Z. My number 3 was Long Live A$AP from A$AP Rocky. Michael's number 3 was Born Sinner, J. Cole. My number 4 was Acid Rap from Chance the Rapper. Michael's number 4 was the Marshall Mathers LP 2 from Eminem. My number 5 was I Am Not a Human Being 2 from Lil Wayne. And Michael's number 5 was Stay Trippy from Juicy J. And do you want to go over the honorable mentions, Mike?
Yeah, this year was loaded for these honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10. So again, I mean, some questionable albums to leave off, but we got Indica by Kid Cudi, Watching Movies with the Sound Off by Mac Miller, Doris, Earl Sweatshirt, My Name Is, My Name, Pusha T, Trap Lord, A$AP Ferg, Wolf by Tyler, the Creator, Boats 2, 2 Chainz, Excuse My French, French Montana, Hall of Fame, Big Sean, and ESGN, Freddie Gibbs. And again, there's some that we didn't even write down for the honorable mentions. But like I said, loaded year. And aside from just the albums that were timeless, that are really making an impact long term, I mean, there was a lot that was just relevant to this year. So you just had to shout out, give them their due credit here. But the seating, Eric can remind as we go through. But I think that's about it. You know what? Let's give a little background for the year of 2013 music. To put it into perspective, Eric and I are in 6th grade. And it's again at that kind of crucial moment where you go from somebody who just likes music to this rap stuff specifically is actually kind of hitting right now. So this was definitely a year for me where it was kind of I don't know. It's when you get out of the elementary school, you're literally even as a kid, you're yeah, I'm the big deal now. So I think it was definitely a interpersonal shift, but then to kind of cross over into everything that was coming out this year was again kind of an exciting time to be alive. It was the year of Vine, Eric. I mean, we know that's just to date this whole episode. That's what we're working with right now. Think about that. When all this was coming out, you were literally walking down the hall. You couldn't own a pair of white sneakers without somebody literally yelling out "Damn Daniel" at you. It's terrible. It's kind of hell on earth, but at the same time, it was a beautiful time to be alive. So we'll just jump right in. Round 1. Again, we have the underdog.
My number
seed.
5. It's my number 5 seed. I'm Not a Human Being 2, and then Michael's number 4 seed, the Marshall Mathers LP 2. And I'm going to go over
the track list, yeah.
Yeah, track list for I Am Not a Human Being 2. Give me 1 second. We have IANAHB, Curtains, Days and Days, Gunwalk, No Worries, Back to You, Triggerfinger, Beat the Shit, Rich as Fuck, Trippy, Love Me, Romance, God Bless America, Wowzers, Hello, and if we're including the deluxe, we have Lay It Down, Hot Revolver, My Homie Still.
All right, then Marshall Mathers.
Yep, give me 1 sec. We have Bad Guy, Parking Lot, Rhyme or Reason, So Much Better, Survival, Legacy, Expletive, Berserk, Rap God, Brainless, Stronger Than I Was, The Monster, So Far. 1 second. Love Game, Headlights, Evil Twin, Baby, Desperation, Groundhog Day, Beautiful Pain, and Wicked Ways.
All right, so if you don't mind, I'm going to start off with the Marshall Mathers LP2. This is Eminem, obviously very prevalent since 99. And I mean, just the entire 2000s decade, he was releasing. And I feel like everybody kind of fell in love with that Eminem sound that we all knew. And then 2010 from 2013, he's quiet. He's just instead of dropping 2 albums a year, he literally just kind of stops for a little bit. And then he releases this 21-track behemoth. And I mean, again, I feel like this did not get the credit it deserves. it was also definitely a sound shift for Eminem. Like you definitely hear new things, kind of a different Eminem than we were used to after the 3 year hiatus. But I mean, like I'm gonna go with Bad Guy. So let me say it this way: everybody knows Rap God, everybody knows Berserk, but like the tracks that I don't think get their cred, Bad Guy, Survival is definitely on there for me. Berserk and Rap God, I mean, they're still
And
God.
then everyone knows the Monster.
The Monster, that was like his radio hit.
Yeah, the biggest radio hit from him.
Okay, Stronger Than I Was. Now, I think I said something similar to this on the 2011 episode, but like there was a very niche list of like sad songs that weren't really like that sad of songs that I just kind of like, it was again like sixth grade angsty 12-year-old Michael. If I was just down, I would literally be listening to this song, Stronger Than I Was. So please go listen to that. And it actually is heartfelt. Like there's some songs on here where it's like, that's what I'm saying, different Eminem. Like this was heartfelt. But then Headlights, everybody knows that one with I don't even know his name, the guy from Nate Russ, lead singer of Fun. And I mean like that one was crazy. I mean that just like actual storytelling Eminem. But Evil Twin also up there for me. And then So Far, that is one I was telling Eric, like I literally still put that track on the reg here in college. So I mean that one aged timelessly. And so like again for me this was kind of timeless. I don't know if it fits the bill of like maybe not as influential in 2013 necessarily, but I mean still even to have Rap God, I think that literally changed. That was a talked about song for years. It would be 2 years later and you just like remember Rap God, like that was crazy. So like
Agreed.
Go over your thoughts on Lil Wayne though.
Yeah. I mean, you have two legends in the game. But a little tidbit I thought was cool that I just found out recently was that Kanye West did the album cover art for "I'm Not a Human Being" too. I just didn't know that. Yeah, which is pretty cool. And then, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite Lil Wayne project, but it does have some hits on it. I mean, we have "No Worries," "Rich as Fuck," "Love Me" are just like the like classic ones. And then there are some deep cuts in there like "Curtains" and Gunwalk, which I enjoy personally. But what are your thoughts, Michael?
So Curtains was actually an underrated pick for me. I love Curtains.
Yep.
I love Rich as Fuck. I love Love Me.
Yep.
I mean, No Worries, obviously. Lil Wayne, again, it was just like, this was a sign of the times. Like, Lil Wayne was absurdly good. And I mean, like he was on a different level for quite a long time. And yeah, I agree. Not a top project from him, in my opinion, but like again, it was showing like this guy who's been doing it since like all of 2000s, and he just kind of popped up and kept doing it at a high level. And I mean, like this was sixth grade Michael prime, like, and I really just like what he was able to do and kind of carry me through from the Carter 3 onwards. I mean, I was hooked the entire time. But then, like, yeah, like I said, just to stay relevant and keep dropping songs like this. One story that I thought was hilarious is this was back in the era before I had Spotify or anything like that, before there was Apple Premium Music, stuff
on
like that.
On that Pandora.
You would buy songs for $1.19 a pop off Apple. And I don't know if you remember this. When you buy a song, you would have like the little sample. It was like 30 seconds of the song that you could listen to. And I don't know if this is like a parental setting, but my dad could like see the purchases or something that I had. So I remember I bought this. I think I bought the whole album, and he like clicked on this song "Rich as Fuck," and I got it. Like the sample that they used could not have been worse. It was, he clicked the sample. He's like, "Michael, I think this music is not good for you." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, so this song, "Rich as Fuck," and he clicks on the sample, like, "Plays it for me at the kitchen table." It's just me, my dad, and my mom. And the lyrics were, "And I make that pussy tap out. I knock that pussy out cold. You could beat the crap out, but that's just how the dice roll. These hoes hold that hose pipe, so I give all these hose pipe. So you get on my dick and stay on all night, like porch lights." And then it comes. And they just looked at me as like, this is just what you like listening to? And I'm like, I have that. I don't know what you want me to say, but that's Lil Wayne in a nutshell. Like, you can pick a sample from any song and it's going to be like that. So
there's going to be something vulgar in there.
For the sake of choice here, I mean, like, what do you think, Eric? They're both.
I think this might be a really like even matchup because it's neither of these artists' best project, but they both have their like hits and hidden gems in there.
I kind
So,
of want to make the disrespectful choice here because, like I said, legacy albums definitely Eminem for me. But I always do this in perspective 2013 music. So I mean, I'm gonna give this to Lil Wayne unless you disagree.
and I would agree with you.
I'm gonna give it to Lil Wayne again just for like the legacy of the year. This one, this should be an easy pick. We got Acid Rap versus Stay Trippy. My number 5 versus Eric's number 4.
And
Yeah, that's right.
like you said, it was going to be a bit easy, but we'll run through the track list, and then I'll start with Acid Rap. We have Good Ass Intro, Push a Man, Cocoa Butter Kisses, Juice, Lost, Everybody's Something, Interlude, That's Love, Favorite Song, Nana, Smoke Again, Acid Rain, Chain Smoker, and Everything's Good. And then moving to Stay Trippy by Juicy J. Yeah, Stop It, Smokin' Rollin', No Heart, No Love, So Much Money, Bounce It, Wax, Gun Plus a Mask, Smoke a Expletive, Show Out, The Woods, Money to Do It, Talking About, All I Blow Is Loud, Bands that Make a Dance, Scholarship, If It Ain't, 1000, Having Sex, and One of Those Nights.
Stay Trippy, and this is again, I just had to weasel this into the top 10, but Stay Trippy was literally you could not package 2013 in one album better than Stay Trippy by Juicy J. So I mean, going through some features here, we got Juicy J and Pimp C, Juicy J Project Pat, Juicy J Wale, Trey Songz, Yellow Wolf, Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, Jeezy, Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown, Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, ASAP Rocky. Like that list of features alone kind of just says 2013. But again, so I mean, everybody knows Bands That Make Her Dance. I would argue that that is probably in the top 5 songs that came out of 2013. Literally, top 5 of 2013. But Stop It, No Heart, No Love actually might be my favorite on the album. So I mean, like that one was hard. But
Michael, can I give you a counter argument?
Yeah, go for it.
Have you heard the songs Juice, Cocoa Butter Kisses, Favorite Song, Smoke Again, and Acid Rain? Have you heard those songs, Michael?
You're right. We'll get this out of the way. Acid Rap's the pick here, but I just wanted to like give an extra minute of dedication.
Yeah, you can give your flowers.
I wanted to give this like a whole obituary right here.
Oh, my bad. Continue.
But Show Out. Oh, Show Out is so underrated. That was my second favorite on the album. Scholarship and If It Ain't, like all of it. I mean, it's phenomenal 2013 sound. The only thing that you could say as a hip hop critic is like, yes, you could click any song and it sounds like the same, the exact same vibe, different lyrics, different feature. But I mean, all saying the same thing. But I mean, we'll talk about Acid Rap next round. But I mean, better album, more prolific. But I mean, I think Stay Trippy gets slept on. People don't understand that if you went 2013 without hearing that album, life would be different. Hip hop the next year would be different. So I mean, you got to give it some credit. We'll jump into the meat of things, though. So we got the middle picks here. Magna Carta Holy Grail, my 2 seed, versus Long Live ASAP, Eric's 3 seed.
Yes, sir.
Some tracks.
All right. Magna Carta. We have Holy Grail, Picasso Baby, Tom Ford, Fuck With Me, You Know I Got It, Oceans, FUTW, Somewhere in America, Crown, Heaven, Versus, Part 2, Beach is Better, BBC, Jay-Z Blue, La Familia, and Nickels and Dimes. And then Long Live ASAP, we have Long Live ASAP, Goldie, PMW, LVL, Hell, Pain, Fucking Problems, Wild for the Night, One Train, Fashion Killer, Phoenix, and Suddenly.
This is actually the hardest matchup besides matchup.
I'm ready to get into it, but I'll let you start with your pick.
So Holy Grail, Magna Carta Holy Grail, like again, I think Jay-Z is one of those people who definitely like he changed with the times. You got old school Jay-Z, you got new school Jay-Z. But the sound was actually something that like this hooked me like right away. Holy Grail, first of all, still listen to it today. Like phenomenal. Tom Ford, still listen to it today. Fuck With Me, You Know I Got It, still listen today. Oceans, still listen today. I actually, for some reason, like I think I've mentioned this before, the Spotify algorithm throws Oceans into my playlist. I hear it at probably once a day. So, I mean, everything on this album was a good ass album. And again, it kind of linked the worlds of like lyrical Jay-Z with some new wave beat, and that's what just made it like digestible for me. And like I said, I'm 12-year-old Mike was listening to some of these songs for pump up. He was listening to some of these songs to chill. He was listening to some of these songs when he was sad. But I mean, everything had its own place. And I think it stayed that like this was 2013 music again. It was definitely just like you see Jay-Z kind of like fizzling out of his old career, but then he just jumps right back on top. So I mean, like it was very impactful. And I think I don't know if I weight things heavier when it's Jay-Z. Like, I don't know if part of me is just like, oh, that's Jay-Z. So, I mean, like, you got to give it the win here or something like that. But I mean, you go through Long Live ASAP because this was another crazy album.
Okay. I mean, everyone knows Fucking Problems, probably know Wild for the Night. I mean, One Train is just like a cipher with like 6 or 7 artists. I mean, it has no chorus. It just literally goes from verse to verse to verse to verse to verse. And I honestly, there's some of these artists I don't even listen to a lot, but I love every verse. And I like, that's one of my favorite songs from this album. But my favorite would probably have to be Phoenix. If you haven't heard it, go give it a listen. It's a bit more of a somber track, but it's got some of my favorite A$AP Rocky work ever. And then Fashion Killa is a good one. Goldie. I mean, I think like there's like 10 out of 12 of these songs are just some of my favorite A$AP Rocky songs. So
right before this episode to get pumped up, I put on Ghetto Symphony, and I mean, like,
I didn't even mention that.
Ghetto Symphony is crazy. I think Ghetto Symphony might be my favorite on the album, but followed very closely by One Train. I don't know if Goldie actually makes it to my top couple. Goldie's, I mean, still that just shows like even Goldie.
Yeah, it just has
even like I don't even PMW is still crazy. Purple Swag, the finale of the album. I mean, like everything was great, and like I said, Fucking Problems was probably another song that you could just peg to this year. I mean, if you watch The Hangover, like you just watch that movie, and immediately you just like when he's in that like balcony of the Caesar's Palace and he's just like going through the party. That's how you feel listening to the song right there. So I mean, they couldn't have cast that sound any better. But like I said, this is 2013 music right here. So I mean, in terms of like again prolific music, maybe Magna Carta gets it, but like I said, Long Live ASAP is just as relevant right here, right now, today. One thing that I have to say for the most underrated song on the album, and I think there are people in this world who haven't heard it, which is Criminal. You think it's Phoenix, I Come Apart, featuring Florence.
Yep.
Oh my God, I Come Apart is like, that is what's the word? A sonic masterpiece, just like.
And then that's on the deluxe edition. When I was reading the tracks, I was going off just the main release. But yeah,
gotcha. I didn't know what cuts off there.
But yeah, I mean, if we're gonna talk about the extended tracks, like you said, Ghetto Symphony, Angels is even really good. The Purple Swag remix with Paul Wall. I mean, just like it's just
untapped. But I mean, like like I said, I Come Apart. I listen to that. That's another just like.
But I think we have a verdict, right, Mike?
I hate it. I hate the verdict, but we have one.
Yeah, I mean, I was willing to fight you for this, but I'm glad you're submitted.
It's just like, go listen to Oceans. Like, rest in peace to Magna Carta on this round, but go listen to Oceans. Anytime you throw Frank into something, it's just gonna be good. It's kind of a cheat code. The next round, Because the Internet, Born Sinner. You can go through the track list. Go for it.
Yep, I'll go with Because the Internet first, and we have The Library, Crawl, World Star, Dial Up, The Worst Guys, Shadows, Telegraph Ave or Oakland, Sweatpants, 3005, The Party, No Exit, Death by Numbers, Flight of the Navigator, Zealots of Stockholm, Earn, Pink Toes, Earth, and Life. I mean, oh, sorry, I still got another album.
Yeah.
My bad. Voluminati, Kearney Sermon, Land of the Snakes, Power Trip, Mo Money, Trouble, Runaway, She Knows, Rich, Expletive, Where's Jermaine, Forbidden Fruit, Chaining Day, Ain't That Some Shit, Crooked Smile, Letting Us Down, and Born Sinner.
So
another close one.
We can. I want to give credit to the dying hero here, but I have my pick.
Do you think we have the same pick, Mike?
Oh yeah, we have the same pick.
Okay.
So
it's Because of the Internet, but we'll get into it.
Right. So I always want to credit J. Cole. I feel like he's right there. He's been on Wait a minute. I can't remember. Did he have a 2016 release? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know if we put 2011 in here then. But he's been like on our talks
I
for
think
all.
when we go to 2014, he'll have a good run. I have a good
Yeah,
feeling
we'll give
about
him his
that.
credit then. But I mean, like it's so hard to peg him because yeah, it was 2011 by the way when he had Cole Sideline Story.
Silent Story, yep.
Anyways, like he is just an actual lyrical genius. I mean, he is a music genius, but I think he's one of those people. It's like so much a level above that it almost I think loses the mainstream value a little bit. Like the fact that we could be as I mean, again, we were a different age category here, but the fact that we were spending our time with Lil Wayne, and I did not listen to Born Sinner like at all this year. Probably, I probably didn't listen to Born Sinner at all this year except for Land of the Snakes, and I mean that Land of the Snakes is still again legacy song, one of my favorites of all time. Um, but I mean, like we were too uneducated to give J. Cole the appreciation. And I think like the world was too. It wasn't just because we were young. But again, like it grows on me all the time. And I mean, like Crooked Smile, all of it was just great music, great sound. And again, more than anything, I feel like the lyricism behind J. Cole just makes him a different category. But I'll touch on because the internet's like actual arguments in this next round. But
one last thing I wanted to mention. If you guys don't know the story about the song "Let Nas Down," it's actually super interesting. As you know, one of J. Cole's famous songs, "Work Out," it samples that Kanye the new workout plan. But apparently, Nas, like legendary rapper, was disappointed in J. Cole for how he just because he made that song. I don't know if you knew that.
Damn. You know what? I actually want to credit him again though. J. Cole, aside from like Kanye we always call him like a sample genius from what he like pulls out of nowhere and how he's able to like kind of like Frankenstein it together to make his own fresh beat. But I didn't know this part actually. Because I always hear shit in reverse now when I grow up with this music, and then I have to like go back as an adult to listen to the classics. I didn't know that Land of the Snakes was using the sample from The Art of Storytelling. I
Really?
I have it on my phone right here, but like this is an Outcast song, but like it's so good. And like I listen to this song now, and all I can think of is like, how did I not like connect those dots? But Aquemini by Outcast, that was the original sound of what he got the Land of the Snakes beat from. And
I did not know that.
I still think of it as J. Cole's beat, but anyways, we'll move on to the next round. But yeah, J. Cole, phenomenal. Not giving him let him move to the next round here, but so these ones are quick. These ones are painless and easy. I mean, Yeezus wins this. This is Eric's number one seed against Lil
Would you like
Wayne.
me to go over the track list?
No, we'll save it. We'll save
Okay.
it for the next round. And I'm not even gonna waste time on this. Well, actually, I'll give more credit here. So we have Acid Rap versus Nothing Was the Same.
And Nothing Was the Same as Michael's 1 seed. It's going against my 3 seed, I believe.
So I want to hit on Acid Rap. Actually, read the track list of Nothing Was the Same if you want to. I mean, I put it as my 1 seed because I genuinely believe this is Drake's best work of all time, and it is going to be one of the most like long-standing legacy rap albums in history.
I can get you that track. Let's give me a quick sec. We have Tuscan Leather, Furthest Thing, Start from the Bottom, Wu-Tang Forever, Own It, Worst Behavior, From Time, Hold On, We're Going Home, Connect, The Language, 305 to My City, Too Much, Pound Cake / Paris Music 2, Come Through, All Me, and The Motion.
Like I said, I'll save some of this for next round, but I can't even get into what each of these songs mean to me. But Acid Rap, I want to touch on it because like I think we weight this so heavily for the nostalgia factor. I mean, like Acid Rap, just every song that came off of that album, Juice, Cocoa Butter Kisses, like it's Chance. It makes you feel like summer. It makes you feel like happy. It makes you feel like youth. It's everything that you love about like a nostalgic song. And again, when you're talking in Eric and Michael terms, Acid Rap's like a nostalgic song. We're not talking about like the 90s or anything like that. This is like that flashback album. And to this day, again, you could put it on any given moment and people just like lean their head back like, oh my God, I remember this shit. And it's just that's what this is for us. So, I mean, it's hard to let it go, but I mean, it's nothing was the same for me, and I won't budge on that one. So
I'll let you have it.
thank you. To those who don't know, Eric's a notorious Drake hater. So this whole episode from here on out might be a little painful. All right, now we're on to the final four here. So we still have yet to go over the Yeezus track list. So Eric, go ahead and spit out the Yeezus track list.
All right, we have On Sight, Black Skinhead, I Am a God, featuring God, New Slaves, Hold My Liquor, I'm In It, Blood on the Leaves, Guilt Trip, Send It Up, and Bound 2.
I'm sorry, I Am a God featuring God.
Is it, like there's like so many features on this album, but the only credited feature is God himself, and I'm not talking about Kanye.
All right, so we've said it already. Long Live ASAP has its absolute like foot in the door with 2013 music, and I think it's more than anything, it was kind of like a platform. Like I said, this wasn't his first album, but this was definitely a platform for him to kind of shoot up as we now know ASAP as like a huge rap influence, and this was the album that did it. But I mean, Eric and I are Kanye fans to the bone, and there's just no way Yeezus is losing right now. So I
Not
mean,
gonna happen.
we're gonna slide Yeezus through here. Like I said, no disrespect to this album by ASAP.
Yeezus makes the final, and we're gonna talk way more about it then, unless you wanted to touch on something.
No, we'll hit a heavy talk on the final. I've been just bottling up the Yeezus. It cruised through so easily. That's what it is. This is like March Madness this year. Kansas is just sliding through, no competition, and then we'll get to the finals here, and he'll have a match of the lifetime. But this one's just as hard, if not harder than the finals for me, at least. These are, I really don't even know where to.
And we're talking about Because the Internet versus Nothing Was the Same.
And yes, it's Eric's second pick versus my first pick, but like the only reason I picked Nothing Was the Same first just because I knew Eric was going here second. So they're indifferent at this point. But I mean,
they could all be number one picks.
That's true. So, I mean, I'll kick off with Because the Internet. Most people don't know it for what it is. Most people know a couple songs. Most people know 3005. I like
Sweatpants.
Everybody knows Oakland. Yeah, Sweatpants. I like to think everybody knows Oakland, but I mean, I don't even know if that's true. But the sad thing is, like, the genius parts of the album are in, like, Earth, the Oldest Computer. What's the actual title?
Earth, the Oldest Computer.
Yeah. So, Childish Gambino, again, he's one of the most genius, like, in terms of production value. This is the best and greatest thing I've ever seen since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. The whole lineage of what happened before this album, like the prep, the marketing up until this album, the screenplay that goes along with this album. For those who haven't listened to the Dissect podcast about this album, go listen to the Dissect podcast about this album. I can't act like I knew anything until I listened to that podcast, and it just opens up these layers. But it's to the point where, like, everything has a different meaning. You know, you listen to it start to finish. It's like literally just a trail off of what happened after camp. And like I said, it's so sequential. And I love albums with a theme. And there is a whole, not just a theme, there is a literal story here, something you could make a movie. And like I said, in terms of production value, Kanye did the same thing. Most people haven't seen the music video for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but like that 50-minute, what's it called? There's a word for it in like English class. I'll skip by it. The Odyssey. What was that? What's the word for that? Odyssey.
Like an epic?
An epic, yes, an epic. That's what I'm looking for. But like that's what it was, and everything about it is just phenomenal, top notch lyrics, sequence. I really can't I can't even talk about it without stuttering because it's like inconceivable with words.
Yeah, there's so many thoughts that come to mind, so many songs that come to mind, and I'm ready to dive into some of these songs we like. What do you think, Mike?
I'll start. Flight of the Navigator, best song on the album.
Okay.
No, give me yours.
Dude, this is tough. Because looking through, I mean, I love the closer, Life, The Biggest Troll, and I love Pink Toes a lot. If you haven't listened to Pink Toes, go listen to Pink Toes. Let's see. I mean, Oakland, one of my favorite songs ever. I really love Crawl, too. And World Star is great. I mean, there's just so many that come to mind, but I want to say Life, The Biggest Troll, The Closer might be my favorite from this album.
Yeah, that's really good too. When it goes quiet for a little bit and he just like starts whispering, then it like just
Yeah.
drops into the supersonic like still on the beat though,
Though,
still on
yeah.
the game like he moved with a
The
cheat
cheat
code.
code. Yeah.
For those who don't know, the little Roman numerals in front of everything, by the way, that's again in playwright form. That's how this is broken into the acts. So I mean, you have the library intro, and then like you have one dot crawl, two dot world star, and then dial up, which is another. All the interludes
Like
are
interlude,
other
yeah.
little breaks into acts. So like that's Act One. Then Act Two is Worst Guys, Shadows, Telegraph, Abs, Sweatpants. 3005 is another break. Then Act Three starts with the party, no exit. First of all, the party, by the way, for a 60-second song, he just drops like for out of nowhere the hardest 30 seconds ever.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
then it goes into no exit. New act is Flight of the Navigators, Zealots of Stockholm, Earn, and then the last act is Pink Toes, Earth and Life. So I mean, like
And
it's
what's your favorite act of this album?
the cluster of so I mean, even
So,
like I said, I'm a nerd. I read through the screenplay. The cluster from the Worst Guys, Shadows, Telegraph, Ave, and Sweatpants was like its own little. I don't even know what you call it in terms of like literary sequence, but I mean that's just like the character journey that was actually like really cool to listen to.
uh-huh.
Um, the whole part of first of all like from Death by Numbers, Flight of the Navigator, and that was another thing. You pronounce it Death by Numbers, and I've literally been on this whole thing like the conspiracy like does it mean Death by Numbers or Death by Numbers? That's what Cole talks about, where it's like literally just the overdose that he was like considering while he was sitting in his bedroom one night, um, like taking too many painkillers and ODing or something like that. Then there's a whole like side quest of his dad dying. He flies to Stockholm, meets this girl, hits on her at a bar. The guy from What's the Fox Say comes out and says like, "You're hitting on my girlfriend," and like it's this whole like I can't even. I probably if you haven't seen it, this sounds like absolute gibberish on a podcast, but you got to go like invest a little time, research that thing. But like I said, creative genius gets so many extra credit points here. Do you have anything else to say, or should I dive into nothing was the same?
Well, I was just gonna talk about my favorite like
Go for it.
section of the album. The final three songs are all just, I mean, insane. I mean, the Pink Toes has an insane feature on it. I mean, I feel like Earth and Life are both sort of similar when they have just some of my favorite Childish Gambino lyrics in there, and I just love how it ends altogether.
I love even like the one lyric twist that's like I haven't heard any conclusion on it, but on Earth it's just like Earth the oldest the what is it? Earth the oldest computer. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And he starts by singing like, and I don't want to see an era, but everybody thinks it's era. Like I don't want to see an era. Like I don't want to live forever. And he kind of like touches on that lyrically, but it also sounds like he's saying, and I don't want to see an error, like a
Hmm.
computer when you get the arrow 404 not found. Like we're heading on this path where we're about to just hit like a worldwide just get that error message type thing. Okay, so going out of the creative realm here to Nothing Was the Same. I mean, Drake could definitely be seen as more mainstream, but this is absolutely his best album ever. So I mean, everything from I'm just gonna list off the ones that I literally endorse 100% and would listen to all the time, 24/7. Which is most of the album, Tuscan Leather, Furthest Thing,
Yeah.
Started from the Bottom. Again, when you're talking about the 2013 impact, everybody knows that one, Started from the Bottom.
Like, and it's
Living
still
Forever,
used as like unironically as just like, a pop culture saying.
mhm. Own It, Worst Behavior, From Time. So yeah, it is the whole album for me. Hold On, We're Going Home, 2013
Yeah.
staple. Connect is, I guess, one that maybe wouldn't be like on my legendary status list. Same with The Language, but still great songs. 305 to My City, I actually like that more than you would think, even though it kind of just doesn't have the hit culture of this album. Too Much. Oh, don't think about it too much. That one is crazy good. Another like just random Michael Sad song, I guess. Pound Cake with Jay Z is probably I would put that in a top couple of all time. And then Come Through and All Me. I mean, again, All Me had a 2013 status for me, but Pound Cake, like There's really not much else I can say. Like this was hits after hits. So when we get to the debate aspect of this, you got the creative genius of Because the Internet against what I think is collectively like some of the best Drake songs of all time, bottled up into one project between samples, features, the storytelling aspect, the lyricism, everything that came together to make this like he could have broken this up into 2 albums and had 2 number 1 albums. And it's really hard because I think Nothing Was the Same was definitely, and we could make the same counter argument for Yeezus when we get there on this last round, but like I said, there's a difference. I don't think Because the Internet had 2013 clout. Same with Yeezus. These were both things that
at grew the time a following over time. Yeah,
overlooked, undervalued. People were confused because you hear Juicy J talking about bands making her dance, and then you play Childish Gambino and you're like, that's not music, what is this? So it's very different, and I don't like I said, the 2013 street cred goes to Drake. I don't know if I can like physically will myself to cross off Because the Internet, and I just don't know where to go from here. I need more constructive decision from Eric.
I think what puts Because the Internet over Nothing Was the Same for me is just the artistry. Just how it, like, Nothing Was the Same, like, sure, it tells you what's going on during Drake's life at this time, but Because the Internet, like, it's like a movie. I've like, it just sends me into a certain like visual. It's hard to explain. Like, I can almost see the album too. Like, every song
I can't me with like the screenplay. Like, that's what.
Oh yeah, and it has a screenplay, but I feel like every song can put you somewhere. Where I think Drake, I might listen to it more like if I'm like, working out or like, I don't know, doing something else. But if I want to be like sent to a different place when listening to music, I'm listening to Because the Internet 10 times out of 10. I think its longevity after the fact, like how it grew into almost, I don't know, like its legacy grew year after year. It matured like a fine wine, if you will. Because the Internet wins it for me personally. I'll listen to any counters, but I'm just
solid. Like honestly just waiting to rip the Band-Aid. So I'm gonna pick Because the Internet, but I do want to give another quick eulogy for Nothing Was the Same. First of all, you said music that sends you to a different dimension, and I mean like, so for me in high school, one of the clearest memories that I have for like probably like a solid stretch, and again this goes beyond 2013. That this was like, again, listening to this year over year over year. My song when it's like wintertime, just left wherever you are, practice, friend's house, energy comes down a second, get in the car, plug in the aux, and the song I go to is Pound Cake. And just to like hear, like just to rip the knob off your car and hear the bass literally like hit you in the soul for a second, and just hear like Jay-Z and Drake just trading verses, and then like the switch halfway through. I mean, everything about that was so absurdly euphoric. But then again, like it was really like that for every track on the album, like Tuscan Leather. These were songs that I sang every lyric with. Like, I don't know why it had such a hold on me. I don't know if this was everybody else. Like, please let me know if I'm the only one here. And then the only other thing I can say is it's crazy that I said 2013 was stacked. And this is definitely when we get into a new wave. We're definitely coming out of an era here. And it's so crazy to think that 2011, the banger bracket we just did, Drake won that. He won that in 2011, and I'm saying this album is 10 times better.
But it's just the competition's different.
And it's not moving to the finals. That's crazy. And I was literally hovering over the winners there. I forgot which one we chose, but like, oh my God, Nothing Was the Same.
No,
Nothing was the same.
Insane album. Nothing was the same.
Nothing was the same.
It's probably what put. I mean, everyone knew who Drake was, but that's what sent him skyrocketing to the top in both popularity, sales, or just credit to him as a rapper himself.
And like I said, it was before. I'm not saying he's a sellout, but like before,
he is a sellout.
New wave of Drake. I think. After More Life, he toned down, but like.
I know, but here he puts out like 15, 16. I remember. Just like solid songs where all of them are just like good shit.
Everyone.
But if you like go to his later albums, it's like 22, 23 songs of just like not all of it's garbage, but like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you look at Nothing Was the Same versus Scorpion, and I'm like, Drake.
Yeah.
I know
What are you
you
doing,
got
man?
it, man. Where did it go? But all right, we'll get to the finals here. We got Yeezus versus Because the Internet, and we've gone over the track list. We've talked pretty extensively about BIT or BTI. I'm dyslexic, and then Yeezus. This is another one where we just kind of made this point deduction on Because the Internet, because of being nuanced, because of being different, new sound, creative sound, things we'd never heard before. Yeezus was that to a different level. And I mean, this is again coming off of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, which many people would probably say is one of the top hip hop albums of all time, probably the best Kanye album of all time. I mean, then you go to Yeezus, and like I said, it was like you just had this beautiful machine that short circuited, and people couldn't wrap their heads around it. So again, for 2013 influence, this does not actually. I don't think people would recognize this as impactful in the year. Aside from, I mean, like you got a couple for sure. Black Skinhead. Some people just kind of like connect with one song. Like, why is that the one that carried the momentum of the year? But
Yeah,
it's
that
true.
was the most popular one.
That's
Yeah.
what people connected with. And then if you listen to our, was it just last episode? No, 2 episodes ago, top 10 Kanye. I mean, like, how many did we have coming from Yeezus that was on that? I forget if we put Bound 2 in the list, but if it wasn't, it was
Maybe
right
New
there.
Slaves.
New Slaves, Blood on the Leaves, and then everything from Hold My Liquor, Send It Up, Guilt Trip, I'm In It, I Am a God. I just listed off everything actually, but like I said, it was all its own league. And like again, one of the craziest things that we know about Yeezus is like after the sonic finishes of like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, when it just ends on like that whole poem, that whole like it was just like one of the most cohesive pieces we'd ever heard. The next song, if you went into Kanye's discography, you just hear
It's the most ear-grating song.
you
Yeah.
just hear this noise. Next song you hear after the closeout of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is this sound.
Yeah.
Like what the hell? And it's funny because even in interviews, people were like, "Kanye, what's going on with your own life, man? Like, what's this?" And he would elaborate on it, and he says the whole line again, where it's like, "How much do I not give a fuck? Let me show you right now before you give it up." And then it literally just cuts to the gospel choir
Yeah.
saying, "He gives us what we need. It may not be what we want." And then you don't even like conceptualize what the whole album is until you hear that line.
Until
And
you find yourself a couple months later and On Sight is like on loop in your phone.
no,
You're like,
it's true. It's true. And
yeah,
again,
it's such
shout
an
out to Cole,
earworm, but it doesn't like it. It's like it hides itself at first.
shout out to Cole Kushner. Again, the Yeezus Dissect podcast unwrapped so many layers to this that I never understood. But then, like I said, going through, he went through interviews saying like, no, you guys got it wrong. I know how to make hits. If I wanted to drop version 2 of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and make the next best album in history, I could do that. I could do that today. But I am deciding. He was playing God with humans' lives. He was like, I am deciding what people get to put in their ears, and this is what I have chosen.
And the album's also a big like fuck you to like the fashion industry. You see
Everything.
that a
It's a
bunch.
fuck you to
Like
everyone
fuck you
put
to
it
people.
on.
Yep. It's just like a big fuck you, but in a way, he gifts us with one of the most interesting albums I've ever heard.
It's that exactly, but also it's like you get rewarded for sticking it out, and like it's almost just like I think it goes to why it's so polarizing is because like if you understand and you can grasp a little bit of the album, you see it as one of the best in history. If you were turned off from the beginning, you'll never give it the light of day. So it's really just like it was a method of his to say like who's loyal here. And then again beyond that, I think this was the year that Kanye shifted into new Kanye. I think you could say that definitively.
Yeah, this is like the break-off point where some of the older Kanye fans might have been like, yo, what are you doing?
The trolls say this is the year that he got off his Lexapro, and like this is when he hopped off the Zoloft, and I think people were like just clowning it for a little bit, but you don't understand that it's genius type thing. Like I said, I just have so much to say about both of these. I don't know how on earth I'm going to pick one.
Could I add a little bit more about Yeezus?
Take the stage. Actually, just take the stage and make the decision for all I care. I'm brain dead.
Okay, shoot. I mean, I'm obviously, we're both big Kanye fans. I love every song from Yeezus. and I just love how you can have so many polarizing like song changes. Like, I mean, this album is filled with like some of the most insane production we've heard from Kanye thus far. And I just love how you hear some songs. Well, first of all, like "Blood on the Leaves," there's a freaking like dance song, like a house song that's just thrown in there, and it makes like perfect sense. And then it's like we said, it starts off with "On Site," one of the most like you might physically cringe hearing that for the first time and how like grating it sounds. But then like you think about that, we go through the whole album and it ends with one of the more beautiful songs we hear from Kanye in "Bound 2." You know?
I think the theme with lots of the albums that I give like genius status is that again it follows a clear progression and lineage of like the hero's journey here. You hear
Uh,
Kanye like at the beginning, you hear him in the most braggadocious form of his life. And then it definitely like it takes you through like his life of realizing this, even like as you close out of I Am a God. And then it plays tricks with you because you get like the guilt trip, and then everything about it makes you think like maybe he's going through changes or like at least he has the struggle that you can see. And then he literally switches and he's like, nah, fuck you, we're gonna play I'm in it now. And then it's
yeah.
again just like jumping right back onto like it was literally like him saying it's like, no, no, you thought I was getting better? No, this is the new song. But then again, he like progresses out of that again. You get to Bound 2, and Bound 2 is the most like brilliant song as well because in terms of the album, it's a resolution. In terms of the storyline here, it's a resolution. But even then, it's not a resolution. He hasn't like it's not like this huge like
Like
emphatic,
happy ending, yeah.
like there's not really like an actual moral cleansing that goes on here. He like have you ever asked your bitch for other bitches when his wife asks him for his Christmas list? Like what an absurd thing to say, Kanye. Like what an absurd thing to say to your wife for your Christmas list. Like but it's just like it's still somehow his way of actually concluding on a positive note. And I just like I said, Kanye's a genius, the album's genius, and then you got Childish Gambino
Wait,
who
Michael,
just
I'm sorry to cut you off here again, but I don't know how we got through this track list without mentioning perhaps the greatest outro to any song I've ever heard in my life. And I know you know what I'm talking about. The Frank Ocean outro in New Slaves is one of the best things that's ever kissed my ears.
that's that's true. And I actually again I think I've had this a couple times. I just got goosebumps sitting here again because like when you hear the whole song of New Slaves, again,
It's
just
such an
dissonant,
aggressive like
gritty,
fuck you. Yeah.
aggressive, everything about it, and then you
It's
just
like
switch at the end to one of the most like sonically
beautiful.
coherent and beautiful and literally spiritually
Like I
wholesome. I
feel
can't
like I'm
even.
levitating, like tears come to my eyes.
That's true. It's oh
It's
my god.
insane. And then another thing, I love like how some songs have like you know like that Jamaican like influence in there.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
was
talking
a
about?
whole theme built into the album too.
Yeah. But
Funny story. When me and Eric, we were literally in California visiting our friend, and this is like an actual established joke. The song had concluded, and Gavin was literally skipping to the next song, and Eric's like, "Did you just skip the outro to New Slaves?"
and
And
we
I was
weren't
just
just like gonna let it slide. We're like, yeah, you're gonna have
we
to go
literally we
back,
made him
skip
skip
to the
back to the
last.
song, scroll
Yeah.
through to the end, and then he was like about to say something, and we're like, "No, shut up, shut up, shut up." And
Don't
then we just
talk
sat
during
in
the
the
New
back.
Slaves
We
outro.
just sat in the back
We
and listened to him like, oh, it's so
and then
awesome,
like I
dude.
guess he doesn't get it because he's not like as big of
No,
a
he doesn't
Kanye
get it.
fan
He's
as
like
us.
one of these two
Like he
Kanye
might have
heads.
been like even a little bit upset that I like cut him off, but I'm like, we
Yeah, he was,
don't
he was in the
talk.
middle of the story. We're like, no, dude, shut up. It's the new
You
slaves out.
don't talk during the New Slaves outro.
Like I said, you got genius Kanye and then Childish, who is the self-proclaimed son of Kanye, making his own stab at like what is a defining sound and wave of the future. Dude, we've been talking for like 10 minutes on this final. Like, you gonna pick? Or am I gonna pick? I don't know.
Um,
Flip a coin.
where's your heart leaning? Because we talked a bit before how either one of these two could definitely win, but now that it's staring
And I
at it
thought
right in the
nothing was the
face,
same could win too. So I mean, like
they
it's
both could win on their own day. And I'm trying to put all my Kanye like bias aside for this and look at
the
it.
same. And I just don't know if this is just me. That's the thing. I think we always think in terms of like influential in 2013, influential with mainstream. And I mean, neither of these were mainstream or necessarily groundbreaking this year. but because the internet definitely had a closer grasp on it. I mean, like 3005, Sweatpants, World Star. I think everybody loved these songs. Oakland was something like that you could sing to it, but then I think that's the difference. Childish blended hits with things that you could sing to, with things that you could relate to, with things that you kind of just like got more realistic views on. And then he kind of brought it all together in terms of like, these are the things you don't want to hear in my rap, but I'm going to say it anyways. So again, he definitely had his share of like, I'm going to give you what you need. It might not be what you want, but I think he blended it into a way that maybe just like made the people happy, more responsive. Yeezus was none of that. He was like, I'm saying what I'm saying. I don't care if you sing. I don't care if you dance. I don't care if you skip it and you stop listening to me altogether. That's my view. And like, so it's just like, but there's no way. Like, I gotta. Part of me, and I again like songs that live in my heart rent free for the rest of time. Yeezus. But for an album of the year, I think most people would pick Because the Internet would like. Where do you go, man?
I'm listening to you. It didn't make the decision any easier.
I know.
Crap.
I don't have a counter argument either. It's just like whatever you pick, I might just have to deal with.
All right, we'll see. I'll say the album that I think should win, and based on your like visceral gut reaction,
I have one in my head, so say it.
You say it.
You said.
All right. Because we can go back and forth with that forever. I'm gonna go with Yeezus just because. I mean, those 10 songs. Not that because the internet has more songs makes it a worse album. I just think how they both deliver the same punch, but Kanye does it in like 10 songs, and I don't know how many minutes it is, but I just like the punch that I don't know. Yeezus is it for me.
I'm gonna pick Yeezus too, and again, that was probably the cringiest like last couple picks that we've ever had to make. I like it when there's a clear winner. Isn't that so great when there's a clear winner?
Yeah,
I think Life of Pablo on 2016 was like something that I don't even remember who number 2 was. It was just a blowout. But I mean, again, I hate like giving just a free ad to the Dissect podcast, but please, it actually brings so much perspective to Because the Internet and Yeezus. So there's a season for both. Go listen to both, and it's like. Because I think there's people who will listen to this and like, why didn't Nothing Was the Same move forward or Long Live ASAP? Like, you got to know what we're getting into right here to understand why this was such a painful decision.
It's extremely difficult.
I mean, that's what we'll call it. Number 1 album of 2013 for us, at least. Anybody, you can let me know your views, but this is what I got right now. So that's about it.
Let us know what you think.
Do you have any closing remarks? I don't know if you want to give a quick
I don't. This bracket took a lot of brain power out of me.
I feel like we already gave it more than enough discussion right now. But so we'll just end it here. Yeah, episode 7's complete. Again, listen to it on everything: Spotify, YouTube. Follow us along on both. Follow along on the Instagram. Everything is just at Banger Broadcast. So stay posted, and we will update with more to come soon. So
awesome. Thank you guys.